Mohi was over. But for the Hungarian survivors, the true horror had just begun.
The Sajo River valley transformed from a battlefield into a relentless killing field.
Leadership was gone, formations dissolved. Only instinct drove the last defense. King Béla IV had survived the initial disaster, but the chase was on.
The goal of the retreating army was simple: safety to the west. The Mongols' goal: total annihilation. The Mongol army moved with calculated precision. Their pursuit was not random, but systematic. Batu Khan gave a simple order: no survivors were to organize or escape.
Intelligence was crucial. Every trail, every road, every hiding place was accounted for. Subutai ensured the cavalry was split into columns, running down pockets of resistance.
The Mongol pursuit was not a chase. It was a vast, coordinated netting operation.
The superior Mongol horsemanship and discipline ensured they could sustain the relentless pace.
Desperate pockets formed. The hope was to hold until rescue came. Rescue never arrived. The Mongol tactics of mounted archery made organized resistance futile, even in dense terrain. The Mongols systematically disassembled the remaining resistance, arrow by brutal arrow. The vast plain was now a trap. Forests and swamps became the last, desperate refuge. King Béla IV, the symbol of the kingdom, became a frightened fugitive.
The annihilation was complete. The kingdom's logistical spine was utterly broken in the flight.
The pursuit shifted focus. The remaining Hungarian nobility were now the highest priority targets. Preventing any future organized resistance required not only military victory but political decapitation.
The battle was won. The days-long tactical massacre was about to begin.
The pursuit began anew at first light. The Mongols' secret weapon was the swift change of horses.
Mongol speed and intelligence meant every pocket of resistance was quickly isolated and overwhelmed.
For the Mongols, this was not war. It was an execution protocol. There was no mercy. Every natural obstacle became a deadly delay, giving the pursuing Mongol veteran cavalry time to close the gap. This systematic encirclement ensured that escape to the coast or to Austria became nearly impossible. This for the slow-moving Hungarian heavy infantry. The surrounding geography quickly became their death trap.
You call yourselves soldiers? Come and prove it!
The volley was swift, precise, and devastating. The final defense was instantly compromised.
In the chaos of the pursuit, the Mongols refused to take prisoners. The order was clean annihilation.
Any man left behind was an enemy that could never be allowed to fight again. Their fate was sealed. The tactical genius of Subutai orchestrated the massacre, adapting the pursuit to every terrain and every parts. For the nobility, their wealth and rank became a fatal liability. Disguise was their own. The tragedy of the pursuit extended far beyond the battlefield. The civilian population was not spared. The terrain offered no sanctuary. The composite bow ensured the Mongols could kill from a safe distance. There was no defense against the torrent of arrows. The grass provided no armor against Mongol precision. The final sweep was merciless. They executed the wounded to ensure no one escaped with their lives or spirit intact. The final stand of Hungary was not a battle, but a protracted, bloody act of vengeance.
The heavy European armor, a symbol of might, now became a deadly anchor in the race for survival.
To lose the armor was to lose status, identity, and the last shred of defense against the Mongol arrow.
For the infantry, shedding the weight was not enough. The Mongol veteran cavalry were simply too fast. The Mongol pursuit was definitive. They not only destroyed the men, but also their symbols of power and resistance. The bottlenecks became mass graves. No one could cross under the relentless pressure of the Mongol veteran cavalry. The hasty flight of the nobility left a trail. Their desperate attempts at disguise were constantly betrayed by the Mongols systematically searched every body. They were hunting status, not just soldiers. Under threat, the local populace became an unwilling tool in the Mongol hunt for King Béla IV.
The hunt for King Béla IV was considered so vital that Subutai took personal charge.
For days, the king was relentlessly tracked. The Mongol veteran cavalry gave King Béla IV no time to rest.
The exhaustion was total. To continue the flight, even their prized war horses had to be left behind. Subutai would not be delayed. The mission was to crush every defense immediately, without exception. The clash was momentary and devastating. The final, desperate stand was overwhelmed in an instant. Subutai did not pause for trophies or prisoners. Only the capture of King Béla IV mattered. Even in the densest forest, the Mongols' skill in tracking and horsemanship was unmatched. The Mongol veteran cavalry dismounted when necessary. They became ruthless infantry hunters in the scene. Exhaustion was the final enemy. The bodies of the Hungarian noble cavalry simply gave out. For the captured nobility, the fate was often slow. The full terror of the conquest was meant to be felt.
Total war meant the destruction of all civilian infrastructure that could support the enemy's flight or resistance.
Batu Khan's strategy was twofold: occupation and the complete elimination of King Béla IV.
For the captured nobility, the fate was not a quick death, but a long, humiliating march toward their nearest. The once proud Hungarian noble cavalry were treated as less than cattle by the conquering Mongol vets. The forest offered temporary respite, but the constant fear of discovery meant no true rest could be taken. The Mongol veteran cavalry were always close. The smallest error, the faintest sound, would give demanded terrible choices. Every loyal horse, every trusted companion, became a liability. The nobles could shed their armor, but they could not shed their habits of wealth. These small errors were their finals. The king was trapped. The forest, once a sanctuary, now belonged entirely to Subutai, and the king was trapped. The forest, once a sanctuary, now belonged entirely to Subutai and the Mongol vet.
The last two loyal men fought with the courage of the condemned, knowing this was their final sacrifice.
Survival trumped honor. King Béla IV was forced to abandon the men who died for his life.
The king escaped by the narrowest of margins. The pursuit would now continue, further and further west. The Carpathian Mountains offered King Béla IV his only true protection. The Mongol cavalry's strength was diminished.
The pursuit of King Béla IV failed. But the annihilation of his kingdom, King Béla has escaped, my lord.
Then execute the nobles. We will break their will.
The slaughter was now a strategic, political act. The entire ruling class of Hungary was bewarshed. The final stage, public execution. Executioner was selected for his strength and cold efficiency. His task was to eliminate the political future of Hungary. Defiance was futile. The Mongol objective was to break the will of the survivors by eliminating every source of power.
The execution was swift and brutal. The message: the Kingdom of Hungary no longer had a ruling class.
This was not vengeance. It was strategy. Batu Khan's cold calculation ensured
of the nobility was total. Their titles, their lands, their very existence were erased in the flames.
The occupation was thorough. The centers of Hungarian resistance were systematically demolished by the icons of the past were destroyed to ensure no source of inspiration or loyalty remained for the future. The Mongol army showed no mercy to the political or spiritual leadership. The clergy were now prisoners of war. Even the symbols of the Christian faith were targeted. The Mongol conquest was a spiritual, as well as the civilians were not only enslaved but weaponized. The Mongols forced them to serve as human shields in the next assault. For these human shields, the certainty of death was only a few agonizing days away. There was no escape. The sheer number of captured nobility confirmed the scale of the massacre. The entire future of Hungary knelt. The official proclamation of conquest was the final act of the battle. The Kingdom of Hungary was officially extinguished. The message was clear to all Europe: defy the Khans, and your kingdom will be extinguished, politically and physically.
The strategic starvation of the land was a core part of the Mongol occupation. No food could remain for any future resistance. The war was not just on soldiers. The farmer's survival, and that of his family, was purposefully. The destruction of the Hungarian food stores was total. Starvation was weaponized to ensure compliance. The occupation was now official. The Golden Horde had established their terrifying, destructive domain. The annihilation of Hungary was merely the first step. The goal was to secure a massive staging ground. The conquest of Hungary was complete. But the Great Khan's ambitions stretched far beyond the plains. The Mongol military machine was a bureaucracy of destruction. Every act of terror was codified and executed. The invasion paid for itself. The wealth and the captured populace of Hungary were ruthlessly extracted to fewness. The war was a business. Every item of value was assessed, accounted for, and sent back to the Mongols. The Mongol objective was complete. The Sajo River Valley and the Hungarian plains were now a vast.
Every stronghold, every pocket of resistance, even the manor houses of the nobility, were systematically reduced to ruin.
The end of the family was represented by the ruin of their name. The entire noble structure. The checklist was complete. The political power of Hungary was systematically and ruthlessly eliminated. The battle was over, but the war machine never rested. The Mongol veteran cavalry prowess. Europe was saved not by its armies, but by the death of the Great Khan Ogedei. The highest political call superseded all military campaigns. The Mongol focus instantly shifted from conquest. Subutai executed the withdrawal with the same lethal efficiency as the invasion. Nothing was left to chance. The withdrawal was as terrifying as the arrival. The great Mongol veteran cavalry were leaving a ravaged. The Mongol veteran cavalry departed, but the scars they left would forever mark the land. The recovery would be slow. The massacre was over. The great chase had ended. But the nightmare of the occupation was almost froze. The true scale of the massacre was almost incomprehensible. The dead were counted in the cholches. The search for the dead began slowly. Few were found. The sheer anonymity of the slaughter. Demographically, the kingdom was hollowed out.
The symbols of sovereignty lay broken. The entire system of governance was destroyed. King Béla IV had survived.
The sudden Mongol withdrawal left a power vacuum. The devastation was complete. The occupying force was gone. Governance began in the ruins. The few surviving leaders faced the impossible task of rebuilding. The slow, painful process of healing the land began with simple dignity. Burying the dead learned the terrible lesson of the Sajo River. The future defense of the kingdom would rely on massive, unmoving stone. Hungary's great loss led to a military revolution. The kingdom would never again face the Mongol shock terrors. The legacy of the invasion was not just physical ruin, but psychological terror. The Mongol sent shockwaves across Europe.
Kingdoms immediately began to prepare for the inevitable return of the Mongol invasion.
The Mongol veteran cavalry reached the Danube, but the internal politics of the empire forbade the final conquest. The war machine was reversing course. The immense loot and the Mongol veteran cavalry were returning home, leaving a commerce. The political destiny of a distant empire saved the West. But the price paid by Hungary would forever be truly accurate. The vast majority of the fallen Hungarian royal army would forever remain unknown. The terror was not regional, but imperial. The power of the Khans, though recalled, remained absolutions. The battle was a masterclass in annihilation. A grim warning from the East that forever changed the history. The story of the Sajo River is the true cost of conquest, a legacy written